Welcome back to King Arthur Pendragon 5.2, the Great Pendragon Campaign. This is episode 49. We're here with another high energy impact introduction. We have BigSpoon playing Kendric. We have Gwgan playing James. Yes, I said that in the right order. And we have Glimo playing Kyned. We have gathered. We have schmoozed. We've insulted each other before the camera got started. We've got everything. And you know what? We've also got is permission for 505 to be split into more than one episode, because it definitely will be. This is a long one. We're going back to the old days now. In the words of good King Pellinor, the old days, the old ways. That's when it was better. Court is held at Countess Ellen's in Sarum. We see Sir Lack. He was the guest from last year. Sir Elaine de Carlion, a messenger from King Nanteliode. We see, as the three of you are entering together, two nuns outside of the keep. They're knitting a gigantic, weave thing together, and one of them's just going, "Oh, yes, I've just checked in with how the young Earl feels. I'm doing this thing where I put together a 50 square knit, one for every day, and then it's like it's like a 5x10 long blanket for him. We're doing it for his birthday." The other one says, "Well, I don't know why we don't just live here permanently. Just make one big barracks for everyone to sleep in and put it inside the keep. Oh, it gives you a chance to see the cathedral this way and see us." Well, there is truth to that. Is it true that the Saxons have corpses that fight in their armies now? I've heard of one that rides upon a gigantic lion. No one befriends lions, silly. Now come on. We each have to carry on if we're going to finish this by the end of the day. You have a lot going on. There's a castle that needs to be finished, and there's some questions as to what you're going to do about Sir Helfer the Mercenary. You have a missing set of agents. You have problems with the Irish. You have a letter that arrives for you, Kyned, that's in your hands. Like, you enter, they announce the three of you, and the herald hands you, a post that has come. Now, of course, you can't read it, but they send for a church boy in order to have someone who speaks Latin read it for you. And it appears to be from the Irish. You have not heard back from Sir Falbred de Havilard of Silchester since last year. In fact, you haven't heard from him since last year's feast. He has been a complete no-show. You have gotten several letters from not his agent, but from the actual Marquis Rister Sierch of Pomitain, and they have just been like, "We need to stop discussing. My loyalties lie elsewhere now. I am swearing myself to King Lot. We the Isle of Man stands with King Lot and the Pictish cause. Don't call me. I'll call you."
Okay. That's rough.
What's in the letter?
Well, I'm still describing everything that happens.
Sorry.
You can check the letter at your seat.
You stopped, so I thought...
Yes, I did stop. You're right, I did stop, but that's because Spoon was making a funny face about the pics, so...
Okay.
Yes, Prince Kenric is here. He appears to be in an engaged discussion with the Countess in a sort of Mon Mothma x Krennic sort of situation, where the two of them are obviously in a very heated... He's in a very physically imposing but still dignified way, and she's in sort of I won't back down, but this guy is physically larger than me and is a horrifying person. His shouting from across the room seems to threaten the edges of hospitality, or if this was George R.R. Martin, guest right. There's definitely a bit of intimidation and edge, and it sounds like he's switching languages from time to time in order to swear in whatever the Saxons call bleated noises. Sorry, I'm just making fun of them real quick. And then, of course, you have Lack and Elaine, who are both standing over by the hearth fire. They are observing the situation and speaking to a small cluster of knights, which includes Dame Titania. You have...
I'm sorry, it was, who is the one? It was Prince...
Kynric.
Kynric was yelling.
Wessex,
okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Gotcha.
And then you have heard news on the way in through town. You have heard the peasants speaking that King Idris has attacked Somerset over the late summer, early winter, and has besieged the city of Wells and then captured it. So Somerset is on the verge of falling. In the words of Elrond, our list of allies grows thin indeed. Very well. Now I will tell you what's in the letter. Also, what's in the box.
Excellent.
In the letter, it is a message from a bishop by the name of Rook. He is a bishop in Ireland and is writing to you in Latin, indicating that your legend has spread, the tales of your camaraderie and bravery and martial excellence, and frankly outlandish, roguish tactics such as floating through the air while being fired out of a catapult are all exactly what Ireland needs, and that you have a strong Irish spirit within you, and that you represent the apex of a pagan who has switched to the Christian ways, and that he would be proud to put forward your cause here where you are being vilified by local pagans.
And what does he ask for?
You didn't ask for anything.
Oh,
That was the whole message.
okay.
He's going to change his status to your name.
He puts up a flag in the background of Kyned's manor house.
Yeah. Just what you can need.
Theoden has changed his profile picture to a flag of Gondor. Thoughts and prayers. First message pinned: where was Gondor when the Westfold fell? You never did find out what happened to Simon Chicory. You never did recruit a new troop of jongleurs, I believe.
No, I did find out what happened to Simon Chicory, and for doing so, I was unable to recruit a new troop last year.
Yes. That's right. Yes, and you have heard, all of you, about this strange group of sellswords to the west called the Sons of Devon. It seems that the sale for their contract this year is being hotly contested. It's a topic of discussion that you can hear coming from Locke and Elaine. This is not going to be difficult at all. Ellen and Elaine. Oh my God. And don't forget, your wife Elaine is also here.
Just call him Alan. You know, it's the early form of Alan. So you know.
I prefer Tim Elaine. Man, talk about somebody who fell off for sure. All right. What do you guys want to do? Floor's open.
So just to clarify, because you had a really long Oxford pause before.
Yes.
When you said and Elaine de Carleon, long pause.
Oh, yes.
A messenger from King Nantelion. Is that...
Yes. The two of them are speaking about the contract loudly.
Oh, okay. No worries.
It's because obviously King Nantelion is one of the people who wants the contract for the Sons of Devon, as does King Idris of Cornwall.
Okay, but the guests are Locke and Elaine, not Locke, Elaine, and a messenger from King Nantelion.
Yes. Elaine is the messenger from King Nantelion.
Okay, no worries. Well, I'm assuming he's here to...
I'm sorry I can't vocalize comments for you. I can only speak strangely today as my brain is half alive.
And Locke was from Somerset, if I'm remembering correctly.
Locke is from Estragales.
Estragales.
Okay.
So he probably also Nanteliod's man.
Yes, he is an
Yes.
Antelian's man.
So I guess, I mean, I will greet them. I'm assuming that their message needs to go to the Countess.
I don't
but
think
I'll-
that, yeah, what's happening with them is just that they're kind of in a holding pattern, waiting for the battle to be done between
Okay.
Yeah, Henrik and the Countess are yelling at each
Ellen.
other's. Oh, sorry. Yes, Ellen.
yes, Ellen or Elaine or Alain. One of them is battling Kendric, who is not Cerdic.
Okay. I mean, I think since Luck was here last year. Elaine was not here previously, but I know Elaine. I will go and greet him and welcome him to court.
He gives you this version of the Predator shake, not the man shake. He gives you the you son of a bitch.
You son of a bitch.
Yeah, so
They got you pushing too many pencils.
The Carl Weathers handshake.
Okay, you can call it that.
Yeah.
It's a Predator. There's two Predator handshakes. There's the man shake, and then there's the handshake.
yeah. I mean, at no point in the film Predator do they do the Vambrace of Vambrace clasp. The only handshake in Predator is the Carl
I
Weathers.
agree,
that's it.
but
Yeah.
if I call it the Predator man shake, everyone knows what I'm talking about.
All right. It's been a few years since you last graced our court, Elaine.
I have recently met with the good Sir Kendric. I apologize. I was thinking of calling him by his nickname, as he is known among the court of King Nanteliod.
That's right. We're brothers in arms. We have many nicknames for each other that are far less fair.
I see.
Sir Elaine Squire, my son, coughs.
He is well known to the people of our court as a man of unparalleled bloodlust.
It's not an unfair appellation.
Indeed. His joy for life and battle and the wild abandon with which he follows it is something to see.
Is that what you came to court for? Is to see?
No, indeed.
No. Is it? Can you share your purpose? Or
I
is it something
believe that
the
there would
Countess
be
is on?
no harm in sharing my purpose. I suppose it is no surprise to you Southerners that King Nanteliod is going to fight the Saxons and he would like to march through these lands. I would hope that you could muster up your army and march with us and Lindsay, perhaps even Ridichan, to attack Essex and the Angles. This Wilcombe and the Angles are something of a problem in what they're now calling Anglia, East Anglia. Next thing you know, we'll have West Anglia.
Well, the conversations last year did lend themselves towards the fact that we would support King Nanteliod's movements through our lands. Insofar as providing martial assistance, that really is a question for Lady Countess. But I think that our courts are well disposed towards the courts of Estragales.
That is good to hear. I'm looking forward to a positive reply and a well reception for the army of Nanteliod when we pass through these lands. I hope that you and I will ride as brothers in the coming days.
And have you been well?
As well as one can be when at battle, as often as Nanteliod takes us to be. Unifying the country and bringing about a new High King is no easy matter.
Indeed.
My understanding is that you fought in several of High King Uther's latest battles towards the end of his life.
I believe I did. I find this. I know that one of the versions of the Roll20 sheet has all your battles recorded. It's not this version though. This is the better version anyway. I believe I did. Yes, it's been a while.
There are many
I've not-
stories
I've-
about your youth.
Yes, we have. I have not campaigned in years, although my brothers have. Although I mean, there was that matter in Ridachan, I suppose. But yeah, I have been a man of court, but perhaps this year I will be a man of action once more.
You see a look on his face, and he looks at his squires, and then looks back at you and says, "What a joy it must be to be a man of court in these troubling times. I cannot imagine being so at peace that one might not have gone on campaign for so long they cannot remember their last battles. You have a unparalleled situation, sir."
Kind words. I thank you for them. Don't let me hold you any longer, though.
He turns and looks, and then we cut into a cinematic where someone tries to enter the hall, and two guards with, like, poles, not pole arms, just poles, like, block his path, like, bring them down and block it. And one of them says, "No peasants allowed in the Great Hall. How'd you get into this castle, sir? We'll have someone escort you back to the peasants' feast for the poors." And you see Physician Quintus of Ilchen is trying to get in. And he goes, "What the what? I am a learned man. I belong in this court. I have status. I'm a nobleman back where I come from in the Roman Republic. The Roman Empire." And you could see one of them go, "Ah, Rome. Well, we'll make sure you get back that way, sir." And they're using their poles to, like, push him out of the building together. And he goes, "What? No! Kyned! Sir Kyned!" He's reaching out a hand towards you.
This is the guy we evicted last year, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Kyned very suddenly has a little bit of deafness and feels that he must go and help the Countess and make sure that she's making out okay with
Okay.
our Saxon friend.
I'd like you to make an intrigue roll real quick.
12 and a 19.
Okay. You've played Crusader Kings 3. You know what a stress break looks like. You've played this game. You know what it looks like when you fail passions. This is a passion fumble status check to reach out to you, to get you to, and you pretend not only that you don't know him, but that you can't hear him. And you see him bend over in half and go, "Ah! Ah!" And he, like, vomits up a little bile. And the guards are like, "No drunkards allowed." And, like, one of them pulls out a small club in the other hand and starts hitting him. He's like, "Get out of here! Get out of here, drunkie!" He's just,
This poor dude.
he's lying on the ground, turning pale, rolling around in what is rapidly becoming slightly thawing, muddy ground, with the, overcast British sky looking up at it as he's being poked by a pole by one guy. The other guy has kept his other pole in his other hand and has a small club and is just hitting him like, "Get out of here! Go!" And you could see that beyond the edge of the keep's walls, there's, like, guards getting ready, and one of them's just like, "Oh, sorry, sir. He said he was important. He said he was a doctor, a man of status." And he's like, "No more of this man. He's blacklisted. No drunkards allowed here." And we cut back to Kyned. What are you doing as your nemesis is now being escorted out by 4 guards and thrown unceremoniously into the deep mud outside that has been churned by horses and carts and such? He gets splattered and he's like, "Oh, no, no."
Kyned is going to smile greatly at this, but then kind of poke Kendric and say, "Do you think we should check on the Countess?"
Yes, it looks like the Prince Kendric is getting quite animated.
Well,
Something should be done.
Let's see if we can defuse the situation then.
Very well.
As the two of you approach, we re-enter cinematic mode where it's clear the two of them have already been in a discussion. Like,
it goes back to Letterbox.
yeah. We've all played Metal Gear Solid. The voice quality changes as well. Snake, is that you? Kendric is finishing up his sentence and it says, and that's why my father, King Cerdic, has been backed by Kings Port and AL. We will destroy Salisbury this summer if you do not submit. Salisbury will join into our growing lands and be brought under our protection. You must submit here and now and send your troops to help us in battle. An invader is coming from the north to take your supplies, dragoon your men. You will fight with us as we have stood and protected you from worse things. And the Countess says, well, last time I checked, it is I who makes the decisions for my son as regent, not Kings AL and Port and Cerdic. And I will have my decision for you when I am ready. And Kendric dramatically flares his hand and then pulls out a little thing of perfume and puts it there and there and then there and there and there and there, just to buy himself time. You know, like somebody pulling their glasses out and cleaning them. He perfumes himself, and when he calms down, he says, if I do not have an answer of your submission by the time I leave, bad things are going to happen. I have been fair and just, as has my father, and you have offered gold every year to King AL. You know his power because you fear him. He will come with all of us, and we will crush you if you stand against us, and it is your castles that will stand as the front line against King Nantaleod. Consider that, Regent. And then he body checks into Kyned in the process and bounces off him and goes, ah! Oh, Sir Kyned, I didn't see you there, as he huffs past you and keeps going. And then the cinematic ends as, the black bars go back up at the top. And the HUD comes up and you have third-person camera control of your character again. The Countess puts one hand on the table as he walks away and catches her breath.
He seemed quite angry.
Well, it would seem that the lines are being drawn rather quickly. Our neutrality is no longer guaranteed by any of the parties around us.
Well, we knew this day was coming.
The Saxons were certainly explicit. Do you have any ideas how they can be delayed?
Their army? Or...
Yes. Well, take some time to think on it. She turns to you, Sir Kyned, and says, make sure that throughout the county, the sick and the young have been sent to the castle. We need to accomplish this very soon, along with all the food and livestock from your manor. Everything across the county must be brought back here. We'll make our stand.
Very well, milady.
If you don't mind me saying, there are other places in the county that have defenses. Obviously, Sarum is the greatest of our defense with its walls and should be our focal point. But there are other castles within the realm as well. Pitton has...
I am sure that each of my lords will defend their castles with whatever resistance they can put up. But we must bolster our strength and those who are most precious to us here, so that even those who fall in the field are assured that it is not the end of their line. If each of my lords fights only for themselves, we will not fall together. We will fall separately. We must draw them here along the roads to our strongest defense.
I only meant to say, my lady, that other fortifications in, the county will draw off forces to invest them weakening their army as it marches closer to us.
Can you assure me that that will happen?
If they do not, we will have a fortified place to strike at their supply lines from. It would be foolhardy of them to not invest the castles at Pitton, the palisades at Laverstock, Ebel, Duplain, the walled city of Burton.
I confess,
all of those places must be invested.
This sort of strategy is beyond my measure. And yet...
Yes, you see, I have a 3 in siege.
Yes, but you have a higher than that in battle.
This is true.
What you are speaking of is the arts of strategy and battle.
Yes.
I still do not have a replacement marshal, and now we find ourselves in desperate need of one. I have to consider wisely how we might lead the course. I will take your words to heart. And if you have any more ideas, send them my way. We need to slow them down no matter what. If Antleod strikes force, perhaps we should back the Saxons. If the Saxons strike first, perhaps we should back Nantleod. I know not, but we must position ourselves to be on the winning side of this conflict. That said, I am loath to join any side. And there is word that King Idris is going to finish conquering Somerset this year.
Surely another Breton is better than a Saxon, regardless of who strikes first.
Is it?
I certainly don't trust the King's Aela and Port to give us good lordship, should they conquer Salisbury.
And Cynric?
I do not have the same prejudices as the other Bretons. My family was not present for the Night of the Long Knives and the betrayal of the Gwesi. But I fear that they may also not find their new Brythonic subjects to be to their liking if they do end up winning. Too much bad blood.
She gives you a glance, Sir Kyned. See if you have anything to follow up with.
My
Very well.
family was there, so my personal feelings would have me back the Britons over the Saxons, but I feel we must have nightly council and figure out the best plans for what is certain to be an imminent battle this year. I had hoped it would wait for long enough for us to regain some of our forces, but apparently it is not to be. I've also not heard anything from Ulfius or any of his people since the fall of London.
I think it would be wise if you were to go with whatever funds you had to accelerate the wedding in Ridichan and ensure our political alliance. Their forces may be a boon in the coming days. And indeed, if we are not the target of Nantuliod's march, they almost certainly will be. We may be forced to go to their aid.
I shall see it done, milady.
Make sure that all of the supplies from any spare manors across the county are sent this way, and then make yourself scarce for Ridichan. Get the wedding done.
Very well.
We're back to James.
Yes.
Yes. You assembling your Gundam's legs?
No. I'm not distracted by Gundam while I'm playing this game. That requires full concentration. This game requires 80% concentration.
Should I be insulted by that? I'm not sure. What do you want to do?
I mean, I wasn't a part of that conversation, but I think that at some point I probably go and get the same report from Ellen about, what the Saxons have said. And certainly, my hatred of Saxons is famed at equal measure of my love for her. So I will certainly also be encouraging her to choose Nanteliod between those. If it's a choice of those two, I think Nanteliod needs to be the choice. Other than that, I mean, as the steward, is there anything else that I should be doing in terms of preparing the county for what is probably going to be a very violent period? I mean, she's talking about bringing in all the resources that probably needs to be accounted for, and my stewardship's actually decent now, so I probably will be I'll be putting my thin glasses back on again and hitting the books.
What is hitting the books in this case?
I mean, just trying to help prepare the county in terms of the logistics.
Well, I meant at this feast. What would you like to do?
Oh, okay. Well, probably going around the different knights and trying to get an idea about what they can send.
Vibe check, yes.
Yeah. And of course, putting it certainly, you can send that much? You sure you can't send a little bit more?
Ooh, I like that.
Is that your best offer?
Yeah.
All right, you got me. I'll meet you halfway. How is 31 and a half nights? How do you send half a night? It's 2 squires riding a horse.
The trench coat.
There's a very fun Warhammer Fantasy model. I don't know if we've talked about it before, but it's a Grail Reliquary Knight, and it's a band of peasants carrying on like a palanquin like thing a dead horse and a dead guy who was a Grail Knight.
Okay.
And it's actually a really powerful, or well, it used to be a really powerful unit.
How does it do anything if it's just a bunch of people carrying a thing?
Well, like they can fight, and then it's like a leadership boost to the rest of the army. It was just hilarious that like they're carrying this dead guy into battle.
Of course, Sir Robin. Very well, James. I would like a courtly roll. The court.
Courtesy?
Yes.
Okay. It's a 14 under 16.
You get a strong vibe check. You start haggling with people. You can see that they're trying to lowball the amount of supplies they have in their manor. And, as the castle's keeper, essentially, as the castle's steward, you're like, no, you clearly have more supplies than that. And make sure that they get it sent along and get confirmation sent to Sir Kyned. The business of bureaucracy, essentially. It's not that people aren't willing to give you a check-in on their viable fighting force. It's just that each knight and their men-at-arms and family aren't really sure who they're fighting for right now. Several knights are excited to commit themselves to Nanteliod's forces, kind of like pro-United British. Some knights are certain that given their close relationship with Sussex and Aiel and to some extent Kent, that we're probably going to go Saxon this year and probably will always be Saxon from here on out. Other knights are just completely neutral and think everyone's going to walk past Salisbury. They're going to go. I mean, the road goes through Silchester. Why would anyone come to Salisbury? You can get to Silchester without ever going through Salisbury from the south. Who would come here? Why would you need to? There's no reason for Kendric to come up here. It must be a bluff. So, yeah, like, without the Countess's backing saying, who's doing what, there is no clear answer as to how many people are willing to commit. With that said, you are getting a vibe that even if the Countess goes against people's individuals' wishes, this court is united behind her. Many of them were there at the event where you started swearing personal loyalty to her, and everyone else did so as well. Those words mean something. You can't just like break it out of nowhere and join some sort of crazy rebellion with bells and shit. You can't just do whichever you want. Yeah, Spoon. Yeah, John Connington fan.
What, John Connington, servant of the rightful king? Hand of the rightful
if only
king?
someone wasn't ringing those bells. That's all I'm saying. I would have won if it wasn't for those bells. Those damn bells.
So if the inhibiting factor is the Countess committing to one factor or the other, I'll certainly like give her that feedback that she needs to, she needs to make a call tonight. And if anything, it would help potentially to rebuke the Saxon delegate. If she's not going with the Saxons, to rebuke the prince in court so that people see that.
Okay. You can tell that she's come to some kind of decision, but she doesn't share anything with you.
That's fine. No, she shares lots of things with me. It's not what her decision is.
Wow. That's that legendary Riz that got James married right there, just in case you're wondering, guys. We're back around the circle to Kyned and or Kendric.
I do have something.
Yes?
So still talking to the Countess.
Something to say, have you, Master Kendric?
I do. So speaking of gathering supplies and unifying the county, as you know, Baron Hewell's only daughter has been my wife's handmaid for the past several years, and she has grown close with my son, Tathan, who is currently a squire for Sir Elaine de Carleon. I was wondering if perhaps you would approve a match between the two.
Make a courtesy roll on the premise of the marriage roll that one would normally make. So let's get the rules for it here.
Sure.
I think that's in the end of year section by
It is
my
indeed.
recollections. Winter phase
130, 131.
So
she is the younger daughter of the Baron. This would require a 28 plus courtesy roll.
So there is a caveat for roleplay, and these. I mean, I obviously can't hit a 28 plus, right? It would take me multiple years of trying to do this.
Yeah.
But I have previous roleplay to back this up with married being the handmaiden of my wife, and very clearly spelled out as Baron Hewell's only daughter. And she joined my house in, was it like 490, 496, 497? So could I get a bonus for those years from then until now?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So it was 498. So that's 7.
Yeah. That's reasonable.
So this is just a straight D20 roll plus 7.
You can impassion as well if you'd like to take that. Bon chance.
So you're telling me I would get the passion bonus to the D20 roll?
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
see why not.
Sure.
I mean, you get it, right? Because was it 28 you said? When you only get a +7?
Yeah.
Yeah, you need it.
So that's a +5.
Okay.
So that's a plus
12.
12 now.
So you
Okay.
need a 16 or higher on the dice.
It's 23, so that's a failure.
Okay. So he says, I cannot offer that hand at this time. It is too strong of a card for me to play. You know, the thing is, you just don't have the cards. And did you even say thank you? You come to me.
Wow.
You are wearing feasting clothes. You don't even have a suit on. What I can offer you is Sir Paul has a daughter, and he is willing to part with her with investiture in a manor. And some dowry besides. It is a good match, and it is the best I have to offer you this year.
I appreciate your generosity, Countess Helen. I, of course, must discuss this with my wife. She is has a say in such matters in the household.
Of course. I
The discussion will
assume
take
that
1 year.
I see you're using the same excuse Ellen did when talking to Kendric. I will make decisions at my own pace. Unfortunately, when Ellen is your lord, she expects a somewhat timelier manner. In the same way that Serdic will also expect a timelier answer.
Mhm.
Ellen narrows her eyes as this is something of a slight. I mean, you know, you get the bonus every year, and then you make the shot.
Only if you make the courtesy check do you retain the bonus. So you have to. I now have. If I want to retain that +1 from trying this year, I have to make a courtesy check.
Okay.
To basically
to say no graciously.
Yes, exactly.
Go ahead.
So that it isn't a.
Please
can
do.
I retain that? Can I retain that passion bonus or no?
I don't see why not.
Okay. That is a success.
That does look successful to me.
Yeah, and I mean, my wife is. I assume they were friends when Quiona was her handmaid. So, me being like, well, I have to go talk to my wife.
Well, if you might remember, Quiona had a number of husband candidates die all in a row, and you've been famously very alive for a while.
Yeah, unlike all of my brothers.
Yes. That's what they say about you, Sir Kendric, famously alive.
Famously alive, yes.
They'll probably say that about you for the rest of your life.
And maybe slightly afterwards, but just until the news catches up.
Oh, man.
I mean, people thought Nelson Mandela was dead for years, so... Yeah. All right. You say that you're going to go discuss it with your wife. She narrows her eyes, looking for a sign of discourtesy from you, and then stops and smiles as if she, you know, she's looking for disloyalty and finds none of it, and says, very well. Send her my best. Perhaps next year, I shall have a set of Gwent's cards prepared for you so that you might have a set of cards to play next year.
I appreciate that, my lady.
Wear a suit next time.
I'll have my tailor start on one now.
I want to imagine that in 4 or 5 years, someone's going to be watching this and not get this reference at all. It will have been completely forgotten.
Yeah. Yeah.
One can only hope.
Oh, yeah. I mean, one hopes that there'll be such a cavalcade of shit between now and the future that we'll forget what just happened here in real life.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry I did that to you. That was one of the
Yeah.
cruelest roleplay sequences I've ever given to somebody, and I've killed numerous characters, so including Glimo's multiple times. Remember that time I pushed him off a roof and told him he couldn't roll dice to avoid it?
I do remember that.
And he said
do.
afterwards that he was moments away from doing the same thing to me. That was my favorite part. Remember that time James killed a woman?
In cold blood.
Yeah, I mean, the thing
in a
is,
church,
so many
after
people,
swearing not
yeah,
to.
a ton of people had bad vibes about it and thought he was going to strike, and I was like, oh, he's just going to hug her or something. I was totally bought by it. I would have been stabbed in the back for sure.
Oh man.
This is why I personally would not survive in the Game of Thrones. I would definitely be a piece rather than a player.
It's my wife and I like watching the show Survivor.
Yeah. Oh my
And
god.
yeah,
You would be very good at that.
yeah, that's why I keep
imagine.
saying, oh, you should go on it, yeah. So I'm always like, yeah, this person's trying to go do this and then this and then this, and then they do that, and she's like, how did you know?
Well, James. I thought we had an alliance. I should have known. Sorry, I'm doing Allie Beardsley during Survivor, doing a bit about Survivor. Okay, where did we leave off? Kyned.
Yeah.
Anything you'd like to do at the feast?
Kyned would like to speak with Dame Titania.
Ah, you go over to Dame Titania, who pulls herself away from Sirs Lack and Elaine de Carlion, and she says, ah, sir, you seem well.
Best I can be. And how are you?
Shorter every year. My physicians tell me that I am not having enough milk of the cow.
Kendric also seems a little bit shorter this year. Perhaps you two should go in on a dairy herd together.
Oh, I have cow all the time, just not the milk.
Ah.
You have something to say, sir. You are seemingly bedazzled by our presence here.
I have two boons to ask of you. Well, one for the Countess and one for myself.
Strange word to use, boon. Such a specific connotation to that.
We believe that fighting will not avoid Salisbury this year, and the plan is to make the final stand here at Sarum. We're asking all of the knights to, number one, make sure that all the women and children and infirmed are safely in the castle, but also to send what reinforcements they can, and to make the final stand here.
I will go speak with those under my protection. As you know, my people and I reside in the western part of the country. I would be expecting attacks from King Idris. I will commit as much forces as I can to roaming Salisbury and countering the efforts of our enemies. If you can assure me that there will be no actions from King Idris against us this year.
Is anything sure in these times, Titania? I will say we believe that Idris is going to be tied up making his final push on against Somerset this year. That's the best intelligence that we have.
She looks at you, nods several times, looks around, makes sure nobody's looking at the two of you, and then slaps you in the face. Not like really hard, but just like bam.
How did I offend, milady?
You didn't offend me. You said that nothing can be sure in these times. I assure you that you felt that pain. The things that are in front of you are real, what you can see and touch and taste with your own eyes and hands and ears. If you assure me that you believe that there will not be an attack on the western part of our borders, I will commit the bulk of my fighting men and myself to traveling east and roaming wherever we are needed. And if you cannot, I will commit what I can commit. Okay, you don't look like you're very assured of yourself. I will have what supplies I can send
between you
here.
and I, Titania, if it was my land, I would, and I am planning to commit to the defense of Sarum. But I understand what you're saying. Everything that I know says that Idris is going to be tied up. But I've recently found that I don't know what is going on with my own things, which is the other thing I need to speak with you about. So, can I give you a guarantee? No. I can only tell you this is my best judgment.
Very well. I will send what supplies I can spare here.
What do you know of the pagan lords in Ireland?
Quite a bit. Is there a particular one that you're interested in? There's over 100 kings in Ireland. Some say you go to any hill in Ireland and you'll find a king.
Apparently, I have caused such offense that they have...
Oh, I did hear about that. There were some comparing you to others, like the great saintly Patrick.
They have apparently murdered my entertainers and tried to replace them in a plot to have me assassinated.
Yes, I remember that there was some hubbub last year.
Yes, well, this is what I've since found out, and now I have this letter from Bishop Rourke saying that he's heard stories of me. Apparently
I don't know anyone by that name.
My minstrels were more successful than I gave them credit for.
Is that his Irish name or his Christian name?
I don't know the man. I would guess it's his Christian name since he's calling himself a bishop, but...
Calling himself a bishop, is that a thing one often does and isn't?
I know next to nothing of Irish...
Yes, of course.
Nobility and politics.
I know very
milady.
little about the sphere of influence of the Irish Christians, but if you would like, I do know many pagans over there, and I would be more than willing to send word and see if anyone can report back whatever is happening. I know that you are a celebrated figure over there. Like Sir Ufo, your recent exploits have been spreading across this country and theirs. There are also many tales of Sir Kendric which are somewhat less flattering but more flashy.
Well, I appreciate any assistance you might be able to give.
I will get to it then. If you'll excuse me, if I'm to make it home, I'll have to ride through the night, so...
Godspeed.
She is not the only person exiting the feast early to begin work, and that definitely catches the attention of the prince.
Prince Kendric, yes.
Yes, Prince Kendric, the only prince in the room. Well, there is the artist formerly known as Prince. He is present at this as a time-traveling guy, but I think that's where we're going to take a break, as the final part of it is Kendric demanding an answer, and Ellen goes, the regent of Salisbury does not make decisions at the speed that the King of Wessex demands. When I have an answer for you, I will send it. Kendric bangs his hand on the table and says, that's not good enough. This is an outrage. And then he leaves.
So what you need to do is you need to say, if you have to have the answer now, the answer is no. Make it sound like it's their fault. They got to know because they pushed you for an answer straight away.
James, you're unreal. These negotiation tactics. Yeah, we could tell that James negotiates with China regularly. Oh my god, this is wolf warrior diplomacy ass shit. Oh boy. You know, when I was young, my mom got me a book on French style diplomacy, which is all about compromise and reaching a consensus. And then as I got older, I realized that not everyone in the world, in fact, very few people practice that style of negotiation and had to abandon it. At which point my dad was like, don't worry, this book will teach you everything you need to know about negotiation. And I'm not joking, I exaggerate some stories for comedy. Oh, Spoon, what do you think I'm about to say? What do you think I'm about to say?
The art of the deal.
It's the art of the deal, yeah. Yeah, the art of the deal.
After role-playing with a friend of mine, he gave me a copy of Machiavelli's The Prince.
Why? So, it's pretty clear that you wrote it. As the prince leaves, he turns to look at Kyned, and he says, you were told of the consequences. And then he leaves the room. The feast winds down, and when we come back in the second half of 3 halves, I'm just so used to saying in the second half, okay? I gotta roll it into things. In about 5 minutes, we'll find out more of what's happening in this year, which will be more than one episode. Ba, 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 ba. Now, James can be a mysterious figure who few of us can understand, but as I learned during the break, I am eminently predictable. I was checking the YouTube comment section, and I got a comment on my recent Crusader Kings 3 Game of Thrones RP video. And, you know, I pre-filmed them, so the next few episodes are already ready to go. Someone predicted exactly what I'm going to do in the next video. I thought no hint that that was going to end up being the plan eventually. And yeah, they, yeah,
They Game of Thrones do.
I don't think they Game of Thrones me. It's just that I am not mysterious. My ambitions are straightforward and well understood. Gods, I was strong then, Ned. All right, let's talk about the beginning of the summer.
Let's talk about it.
You have an important choice. The 3 of you must decide whether you would like to get involved with the fighting against the Saxons, as the Countess decides to back Nantleode, or you can, of course, sell yourselves out as swords to the Saxons. Or you can go to the wedding in Ridichan to try to secure alliances. Or you can go and choose a side for the fighting in Somerset. Or you can choose to do nothing, which would be treason then.
I think Kendric is going to get involved in the fighting here in Salisbury.
Now, before you get started,
Yes.
I do have 4 words to say to you.
Okay.
Deep, substrate, foliated, calcite.
Calcite.
Calcite substitutes, calcite additives.
And I have 2 words for you: Valley, Highland,
Okay.
and then 4 more. We are the gore.
Okay. So that's 6 words, just to be clear.
Yeah.
And it's valet.
Well, but it's translated into Galactic Common as
We
Valley.
don't translate. We say it as it is. What are you, some sort of imperial apologist?
No, I'm just not from.
Are you
Gorman.
trying to erase gore culture?
I'm an.
Aren't they just a little too arrogant, a little too
what do they
straying
call it?
from our cultural norms?
I'm an outside.
Agitator? Yeah,
An
Spoon.
outside agitator.
You're an outside agitator. This is gore erasure. That's all I have to say. You're part of the problem.
So Kendric will be, of course, going to the wedding of his son.
Reasonable. A reasonable choice.
And also doing spy master things.
What about you, Kendrick? What's your plan? You said
What do you
fighting.
say?
You said fighting in Salisbury, but for whom?
Oh, for Nanteliad. Wow, and
Yeah.
to see the Countess.
Yeah, I think that. This is a year that we can draw steel once again, and I will also go and fight for Nanteliad's forces if they're fighting the Saxons, that is, which I believe they do.
They are.
Yeah.
The 2 people who know what's going to happen this year are like, I want to go fight with Nanteliad.
I mean, Kendrick literally was like, "Hey, you have a northern invader coming, and it's Nanteliad." And we're like, "What? Is it, you think he's coming to attack us?"
He's certainly coming to use your lands and supplies.
Sure.
Yeah.
But so are they.
Kyned, you ride alone with your son, so I guess not as alone, but
I mean, we'll take
a marriage party, the whole fam.
yeah, a marriage. Yeah, I mean, we won't leave Laverstock Manor empty, but we will, bring enough of a show of force that we're not going to get harried on the road.
Okay. I think we're going to follow Kyned for a bit. Your little caravan ends up attracting merchants who are looking for protection on the road to Ridichan. And so your caravan just keeps getting bigger and bigger as it begins moving slower and slower, and more people join it. And at some point,
we're not slowing down for them. Like they can,
I
if they
understand,
want to
but
join,
here's the thing.
they gotta keep up.
roads are only so big, and if someone leaves in front of you, this isn't like golf. You can't play through.
Right, but if they're in our van, they can keep up, or they can.
At some point, you break away from the group and make your way towards Oxford et al. And you find yourself staring across the way at a woman who's pretty sure she knows that you murdered a guy and then snuck secretly into her castle. But to stomach your knowledge of her sally ports, this marriage has to go down. And she's looking at you with the kind of expression that severe women give to men who they know have fucked up really badly, but can't publicly acknowledge that you are her mortal enemy. And
Can I say your knowledge of her sally ports? I know it wasn't innuendo, but it sounded like innuendo.
I was wondering why you were smiling, James. God damn. I'm GrimDarkJames. All right, well, that's okay. He's got teenage sons, so I should expect this stuff from him. Look, I don't have time to do 3 episodes of a traditional Chandrillan wedding, but it's considerably less fancy than that. This affair has been years in the making, and it's very clear that this is a quick, let's get this done sort of deal. A very select committee has been gathered here to witness it. And I think to some extent, it feels like an insult to you.
Okay. In what way?
I mean, this should be a huge affair, right? This woman is sending her only daughter, the eldest child, to go to your family.
Tying the houses together, well,
right? And also,
tying
her
the
family
counties
should
together
be
in
paying
blood.
for this wedding, and it is a very small affair, a quick affair.
No, I feel like Kyned can't say anything because his liege lady asked him to hurry this along. So, I feel like
I think we
that's-
find ourselves at a moment where the two of you, like the two important parents, the two powerful parents, are having a quiet moment together, and everyone is watching you, but no one's close enough to hear what's going on. You know, she's standing with her hands crossed in front of her, clasped together, and she says, "I hope that you are well, Sir Kyned."
Glimo has forgotten what her actual name is, other than that she's the Lady Ridichan.
Countess.
Yes, Countess of Ridichan.
I'm saying that's her first name, Countess.
Yes, her first name is Countess Ridichan.
I actually don't know if it's
Yeah,
in the book.
It's never said in the
never
book.
in the book.
Okay.
That's
Yes.
right. No. Yeah.
Then it wasn't just a failure of my notes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she's like my wife. Every time someone says her first name, they mumble it.
Yes.
Right.
And my Lady Ridichan is actually would be an accepted form of address.
The late Walder Frey.
I'm well, my lady. And you? Have you settled back in?
I have gathered the strength necessary to get through today.
I hear that strength may be needed in general in our lands this year.
That is a interesting way to begin and ask for an alliance.
You know me well, my lady.
Yes, I do know of your actions better than others. We are that close.
My liege very much would like to see Ridichan and Salisbury in close cooperation against the Saxons.
She does, I keep referencing this scene, but I watched it on a YouTube short and I can't stop thinking about it. She does the Matt Smith in House of the Dragon unveiling a scroll while standing on a bridge, and it's like, you're like, oh, my lady would want help against the Saxons. She's like, oh, no shit, really? She turns and gestures for someone to bring her like a wooden goblet full of tea and takes a sip from it and says, absolutely horrible. I have prepared 2 manors to be passed from my family to your sons on our southern part of the borders. I will station a portion of my knights, and some of my levies will be drawn up as part of the wedding occasion to help prepare those manors with additional defenses. They will be stationed nearby to the border should help be requested from Salisbury. I was going to say Silchester. From Salisbury. That is the aid that I can offer you. Can I assume a similar aid will be offered from Salisbury?
Indeed. We would happily perform mutual defense.
She finally turns to face you directly and stare at you and say, it would seem that between the two of us, a mutual defense is needed. It would be good to remember that each of us knows the other's weaknesses.
Indeed.
One would hate to do anything hasty.
Agreed, milady.
Well, your son looks like a fine man. I can't begin to think of where he got such an example. Perhaps you keep good company.
He takes after my uncle.
The blessings of Christ upon this wedding. And she nods to you and gives you a fake-ass smile and walk away, and everybody's like, ooh, look, they had a smile together. It must have been a great conversation. Guess what they talked about? Oh, it must have been the wedding. Oh, it must have been about how many kids they're going to have. Oh, my God. Listen, Kendric, you know people that are Tumblr files, okay? For sure, those kind of people lived in the Middle Ages and talked at weddings 100%.
Yeah, for sure.
Tumblr didn't exist out of nowhere. It was born in our hearts and minds hundreds of thousands of years ago. It just didn't have a place to live physically until now.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, man.
Anything else you want to do at the wedding?
If there's anyone else to speak with about further, alliance with Salisbury, then Kyned would do that. But otherwise, he's gonna, be the doting uncle.
Very well. Kendric, Gwgan, the two of you have to deal with a passing, pagan hipster convention of some hedge wizards that are passing through the lands. They don't appear to know that a war is about to happen, and they're like, oh yeah, we're going from London to Somerset through this road. It's just like, there are multiple major battles happening along these roads, sirs, and they're just like, I didn't hear anything about that from the ancient tree. And one of the wizards is like, you get your knowledge from the ancient tree? That's your problem. You should be offering blood sacrifices to the gods to beam the future directly into your mind while you sleep. One of them just pulls out like a wicked curved knife and goes, I'm telling you, you have to read the entrails of small animals that you slaughter.
So
Are they
Sorry.
going past the other direction as we're marching through, or what?
So yes, they're going northwest. They're going to head towards Nanteliod's army and then down south into Somerset, a famously magical land.
Okay. I mean, I'm not going to interact with them unless you choose to.
I think Kendric will, because he'll go, actually, no. What you do is you take a hair, set it loose, and the path that it runs divines the future.
The first wizard, the one who speaks of the ancient tree, pulls out a silvered mirror and holds it towards you and says, you seem quite wise, knowledgeable of the ways, sir. Are you perhaps a practitioner of the pagan arts?
I am a follower of Andraste, the Lady of Victory.
Well, I offer you this mirror. Look into it, and it shall suffice you as far as a reflection does.
I'll take the mirror and look over it before I look into it.
It looks like a silvered hand mirror.
Yeah, I'll take a look.
You look at it, you know, for a moment, your reflection moves with you, and then it just faces dead center and goes, hello there.
Interesting.
Interesting indeed.
I will turn it away from myself and look back at the guy and go, what is this?
It's a mirror. Do you
I
not
roll
know
fa-
what a mirror is?
Can I roll fairy lore?
Yeah, of course.
That's a failure.
This is dark. This is part of, you know, there are some things in the pagan religion that are considered so dark that they should not be pondered, like orbs.
Mhm.
This is the same level of dark and evilness as animal sacrifice and blood magic and talking to mirrors. I mean,
So
if
is this
mirrors are
is this
real,
is this like heresy?
I don't know that it's heresy, right? Like, heresy is a distinctly Christian concept,
Sure.
right? But, like, this is questionably practiced magic for sure.
Okay.
Putting a living thing in a mirror. But just remember, you rolled an 11.
Yeah.
What do you want to do with these wizards? Maybe tie them up and throw them in front of a cart?
Yeah, but I throw them into the nearest highway. Now, you know, sir, good sirs, if you are traveling to Somerset, just be aware the King of Cornwall is actively attacking that county.
The man who gave you the mirror snatches it away from you and says, well, of course I know that. I consulted the ancient tree last night.
Well, travel safely then.
Okay. As you're walking away, you can hear the second one go, well, you're not near your ancient tree now, are you, sir? Why don't you ask it a question now? And he goes, well, I can, just as soon as I get into the root connection. Did you know that all trees are connected together? As long as they're near enough each other, their roots intertwine. And the third one goes, you know what's really interconnected? And he pulls out the knife again and goes, the spirits of all living things, and you can read the future in their deaths.
Feel like he might be reading entrails in the future, but not of the small animals.
He explicitly said he was reading entrails. He explicitly said on his introductions, I cut small animals open and read their entrails. What do you want me to do? It's like if a guy shows up and says, I'm Doom McDoomster, I'm the Dark Lord. What do you want me to do? There's no subtlety there.
Mm-hmm.
Very well. Very well. I don't know where to go from there. All right, let me get back to the year 505 rather than looking for the name of the Countess of Riddichen, who doesn't have one, which, to be frank, is one of the things I really dislike about this book. Where they're like, yes, of course, you meet with the Earl of Yagan, and I'm like, great, I'll make up a name for him. And then 3 chapters later, it's like, his name is X, and I'm like, why the fuck would you not tell me that? This
is the first time you introduced him.
Yeah, the first time you introduced him. I'm not magical, Greg Stafford. I don't have the ability to see the future by cutting open animals and checking their entrails. You know, they say a good joke is one that you use 3 times, and then you have to let it die from there. That's why I'm always upset when people try to bring the Crab Strangler back. All right, I finally made my way back to 505. King Cerdic marches north against Salisbury. With him is King Port, who notably recently attacked King Cerdic and stole his literal port. But King Ale is noticeably missing. And of course, you didn't pay Ale this year. The Countess orders her people to prepare the safety of the castles and cities and orders her army inside Sarum. She keeps all the footmen and siege equipment and sends a knight northward to wait at the border with Ridichan. The Saxons burn and pillage everywhere, but they find little to eat. They lay siege to Sarum. All of you remain at Wandborough, where you meet up with Sir Kyned, who is just on the other side of the border in Ridichan. King Nantleod's army moves south and collects you. It enters Waldborough, where the king welcomes the Salisbury Knights into his army, and then collectively you move south towards Sarum. Cerdic raises the siege and marches north to meet him at Levcomagus in Silchester. My question for all of you is, do you want to do the next series of battles?
As opposed to what?
We just narrate over them cinematically.
I don't mind. I mean,
It's just that historically, sometimes you all have died during battles. Very well. Let's set ourselves up for some battling.
Let's do it.
Who will
battle.
lead your squadron of knights, and how many knights are you bringing with you within your knight pod?
My intention was probably actually to leave my knights behind because we still need to guard Salisbury and actually just fight as one of Kendric's knights.
Very well.
Okay. I was going to bring, so it would have been 10 knights total. Leave two of my family knights at home, and then leave all my other lineage men at home, and bring my vassals and 5 of my family knights.
I am running out of family nights.
Yeah, I only have 9 left.
If you and we can, I think that gives us like a good numbers for like a lance, which is I think one of like the basic fighting units.
Yeah,
But
so
you
I only
also
have
have
5 family
mercenaries.
knights left.
Oh yeah, that's right. I'm gonna bring my mercenaries with me as well, which is 11.
That's why didn't I pay a shitload of money for a group last year to help?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You wanna bring them?
Footmen.
Yeah.
How many people were in that?
I don't recall.
I think it's fairly sizable.
Yeah, it was a plot number. I paid a lot of money. I think I paid like 30 or 50 Libra.
I was gonna say I think it was somewhere in like it was 25 plus, I think at least.
Okay. Can't wait for the YouTube comment section to eviscerate me on this one.
We just watched it an hour ago.
For you, it was 1 hour ago, but for me, it was Tuesday. Yeah, interesting. Okay. I assume all of you are fighting with your mercenaries, then? You're not like separating them out and...
No.
Okay. Let's see here.
We need to fight as a cohesive unit so that any gains we get, clearly these are the gains of Salisbury. Yeah, if we spread our number too thin, we become just part of Nanteliod's successes.
I have a question. Would Mifi, since she is a progress knight, be
Yes.
with us, or would
No.
she be
She's with
defending?
the castle because she defends the Earl.
Okay.
Yep.
She's just progressive like that.
That means I have 1 less family knight then as well, because I have 2 progress knights.
So that's 4 family members then.
Yeah.
Castle's your cavalry mercenary. So Kyned, sorry, you were bringing yourself and...
I guess I'll bring myself and Fawn, and then Mifi and Krieg will stay at home.
I mean, if home is Sarum, then yes.
Yes.
Very well. The battle size is medium. The number of rounds the 2 forces are willing to contend with is 2, which means that they are fearful of battle here. In command of Team A is Nantleod. In command of Team B is King Cerdic. You all are placed in the right wing of Nantaliad's army, near the front of the pack.
Van.
Yeah.
Yes,
Not
but
in
it's the
alt
van of the
wing?
right side, so, you know, not as good as the van of the left side. Let's see here. There are no outnumbered modifiers. I will require a battalion commander roll from our battalion commander. That is a battle skill. This will be to alter the first charge modifier. Now, I will note that you are used to fighting Saxons. These people are not Saxons. They are full knights. They will also be charging you.
Interesting. Okay.
So hatred Saxons won't apply in this particular battle?
I think hatred Saxons will apply during this battle, but I mean, they're gonna be. I mean, there's plenty to say about whether the Goesi are Saxons or not, but the simple fact of the matter is that these people are dressed as knights. They have the arms and equipment necessary to perform as knights, which means they're going to be, you know, you're used to having a 5 + 5 - 5 against almost everyone you fight. That is not the case here. Battalion commander, I need your
Yes.
first charge roll.
That is a success on an 8 out of 16.
So you have a +0 to your first charge. Everyone in your battalion. Each knight taking part in the first charge has an opposed resolution using your lance skill modified by the battle commander's roll. So you all are rolling individually your lance versus the enemy charge.
Oh, that's a foul for me.
Ooh, close though. Success for me.
Okay.
Success for me.
Very well. Did anyone want to activate hatred Saxons or something like that? I am asking after the fact, but I'm willing to.
I was going to wait till the second round because the second round is switched to sword.
Yes.
Wayne used to be had to 21 hate seconds, so I had to roll it the first round.
Very well. Makes sense to me. Okay. So I'm rolling for versus James. That is a failure. Kendric. That is a success, but not enough to beat yours. And then it's Glimo.
But it means I can't get his shield bonus, though.
That is a failure. Okay, so Glimo, you are just rolling straight out your full damage.
Well, it's horse damage for the charge.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Kendric, you are rolling yours, but I will be subtracting shield because they have shield.
Okay.
Kendric got 25.
No, that's Kyned got 25. Yeah, Glimo got 25.
Yes, I said Kendric did not.
Yes.
Yes. So Glimo, you can mark yourself down for a success in this round. And Kendric, you can also mark yourself down for a success in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
James, you can mark yourself down as a failure in the first round.
So is there a tracking sheet for battles in?
There isn't. I've been keeping track of it. I guess I can just do that.
Yeah, sorry. I was just because you were saying about marking it down. I wasn't sure because I know in the other.
You're right. I have kept track of it in the past, and I will continue to do so because that makes sense.
Yeah,
because I'm the one that hands out
half glory for the round.
the glory. Who do I want to roll? Let's say Glimo. Roll a d20. Just so you know, higher is better for me.
2.
Okay, well, never mind. I guess I'll go fuck myself. All right, you switch to sword. They switch to sword. You are fighting opponents that are considerably less well armed and armored than you. They have shields. Those shields are made of banded wood, and their armor is reinforced leather. They are not wearing chainmail. So they have a 6 shield. They appear to be knights of some skill, but definitely not of fame. You don't recognize their heraldry unless you are making a heraldry roll. They appear to be men of the continent, which is to say they are physically larger than British people.
Sure.
I will need a array of what each of you would like to do. The enemy knights are simply one-on-one, mano-a-manoing each of you unless you do something fancy. Their commit is they are going to move towards you and attack.
Okay. I will move and attack as well.
Would this be
Well,
a time
I
for
would-
hate Saxons?
Yes, I
of
think
course.
so.
I would like to impassion on my
I also
honor.
hate sex.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that's a critical.
That's a critical hate Saxons.
That's a success.
Okay, very well.
This dude is not going to have a good day.
Okay. So
I
you
will be
guys are all
attacking with
psyched
sword.
up. You all begin overflowing with aura as you're like leaning forward, but you're slightly out of the saddle. You know, you've got that like free movement where it's charging forward and you're moving with the horse. You have long capes for no reason that are flowing gloriously. The Gladiator soundtrack is blaring over your charge, and the guys who are coming after you are just like three ordinary, normal knight guys. They aren't irradiating aura around them. They just pull their swords out and they're just like, well, chaps, let's go get this over with. Time to make some money. And they're like, yeah, money. The two forces collide. You guys go full speed and they're at like kind of a trotting pace.
We, the camera goes all like 300, where they're moving in slow motion and. All right. So swords.
Yeah, I'm gonna post up against James first. You ready? Let's roll. I have a critical.
Oh, okay.
All you have to do is beat an 11.
I have a critical.
The two of you critical together. Ching! Now, it's been a while. I believe that if two sides critical with swords, something
And then-
happens.
Swords break ties, but sword versus sword, there's no.
Yeah.
It's effectively, we just cling together.
I
that's
thought
it.
that they might throw each other's swords away. I seem to remember something like that rule. But I've made up rules before.
It might be let's see.
I do know that sword criticals have some interesting specialist moves to them.
Let's see.
That's probably in chapter 135, combat. I love it when games like these have extremely specific, special things that aren't easily found.
A tie occurs in any opposed resolution against a different weapon. The sword always breaks a non-sword.
Nothing else?
That's where this paragraph ends.
Okay. James,
Page.
talk me through this, because you technically have a 20 or higher than a 20. Is this just two crits canceling out, or is there something special because you're rolling over a 20?
Look, I think that because this has been a long time since Gwgan has actually been in battle like this, and so he is not ready for the wave of hatred that overcomes him once more, because he's treated with Saxons for the past several years, and so I think that he has his curiosity, but by the same token, this Saxon has like a will to live, and I think this Gwgan's roughness in battle does not allow him to get the upper edge this time over this Saxon's desire to continue drawing breath.
Opposed roll a partial success.
And it is if both fighters roll a critical, in which case their attacks are resolved as a tie. Page 137
Okay. And a tie in sword is nothing
just
happens.
you like flash.
All right. Gwgan, you're unfamiliar with what's gathering inside you, a darkness to kill Saxons you have not felt in some time. It rises. Collaboration, peace, Not during an age of Uther, the age of war you were born in. You are no summer knight. You have no idea where these feelings are coming from. Your two swords clatter together. There's tons of sparks for no apparent reason as the two swords collide, and then your horses are past each other. You see that the Saxon turns and looks over his shoulder at you as you turn and look at him. He seems just as shocked by his ability to block your heavy blow as you were at not breaking his guard.
I also think, like most 40-year-old men, I'm surprised I can't do what I could do when I was 20.
Because you haven't been on a horse anymore? Yeah, all right. Your knee kind of hurts a little bit right now for no apparent reason. All right, Kendric, you and me, we're throwing down. I just need another 11. I miss. Never mind, I'll just die, I guess.
Critical.
Yeah, go ahead. I don't care. It's not like I wanted to live or anything, you know.
That's 49 points of damage.
There's a fair possibility that you'll just outright kill this guy. Give me a second here. If you'll excuse me for a second, I need to check the stats of how much damage a human man wearing armor can take from a knight charging at full speed.
Yeah, so he gets 6.
You said he was they're in leather, so that's
6.
6.
Plus 6 from the shield. Oh, no, that's right.
He doesn't get his shield. He just gets his armor for 6.
So
he takes 43
points of damage.
Very unlikely that he'll survive this. He is an ordinary knight.
Yeah, Kendric is as big as a Saxon and as tough as you can, almost as you can possibly be, and I have 37 hit points.
Look, I'm just Control F, ordinary knight, and hitting enter until I find it.
Sure.
Okay. Average knight has a hit points of 28. He dies instantly. You collide with this guy, your sword catches into his chest, and you physically pull him off of his horse while the horse, he's still holding the reins. The horse rears back, and you have to like shake him loose while dragging his body after you with his like dying body weakly clutching at the sword. You pull it out, blood and gore going everywhere, your fierce hatred going full on. Nantaleone's men behind you are like looking horrified at this happening. They're like, oh no, he's unleashing his power. And they rush to fill in the gap so that there's no space for you to like charge back. You know what I mean? Like rather than give you space to wheel around and do another kill, they're basically right behind you, like forcing you to keep going forward. Yeah.
But now you can examine those entrails.
Well, you didn't use the right knife.
What a great moment.
You're only supposed to call back 3 times. Don't you understand? All right, I rolled a 7 versus Glimo.
I rolled a 17.
All right, so he gets his shield versus this. So for you to kill him instantly, it would require 28 plus 12. So it needs 40 points of damage. I mean, you don't even injure him.
Yeah.
You collide with him, you take a good show of it, and you slam against him. He looks shocked that he failed here. Critical. And then we got success. Okay. I'm now checking you have to make a battle roll at the end, I believe, to see how well things went. I'm making sure.
The battle rolls the start of each round.
Is that right?
Although I think normally with the battles in the Pendragon campaign, pretty much the rounds are dictated.
Yes, maybe. Take a look here. I may have messed that up.
Okay. How are we doing?
Yeah, we're using the battle system because you have more than one person in your
let me get my
unit.
Book of battle out.
Melee. We're not doing book of battle. We're using the 5.2 melee rules.
Gotcha.
Okay. You are right. We should have rolled for everything, but that's okay. We'll do it for the next few battles because there's going to be more. You don't need to engage an enemy. You have already fought the enemy. Follower's Fate. So I will need a Follower's Fate roll for the second round.
So that normally isn't that normally your squire as well? You make a squire roll here.
If you were capturing somebody, yeah.
So normally what happens is you roll your squire roll, and if you succeed, the squire can do something. They can hand you a new weapon, they can give you their horse, etc. If you fail the squire roll, the squire disappears in the fracas and is out for the rest of the battle.
I guess anyone that wants to can make a squire roll. I'm not sure what you do here, but
if they disappear during the battle, you make another squire test at the end of the battle. If they succeed, they come back. If they fail, then they died in the battle.
There we go. We can get rid of some squires. Go ahead, everyone, make a squire roll. Let's do it.
I don't think I can get rid of my squire because he's currently just got married and rid of Chain.
All right.
So I think
Mark disappeared. He's nowhere to be seen.
Dark. Make the roll for if we find him or not, because we're here at the end.
Well, it's at the end of the battle now? Okay.
Yes.
Nice.
It's only 2 rounds.
Okay. He critically succeeded. So which means he comes back with a stolen horse.
Amazing.
He comes back with an enormous continental horse. A courser. It's fucking huge compared to your horse. And he's like, Sir Gwgan, I found this horse. Do you want it?
We can take it back. We have that's 2 impressive courses we now have in our household. Maybe we can. Well, I assume it's a stallion.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's impressive. It's just kind of big. I'm a small boy, so it's as big to me as a regular horse, more or less. All right, follower's fate roll from your commander.
Okay. Do I maintain any passion?
No, you'd have I think you can only passion once per round,
once,
right?
yeah. And yeah.
So it's about
that is a success.
Okay, so 10% losses. So Kyned is not affected. Gwgan, you will need to choose 1 mercenary to be killed.
All right, Bob. Poor Bob.
Well, note that you have 24 mercenaries now. It could such cumulative things could be necessary. Kendric, you will need to select 1 mercenary to be killed, and then one of your knights must be wounded, whether it's a family knight, vassal, or other knight. Your 10 household knights.
Okay. We'll say it's one of my vassal knights.
Very well. Pursuit battle results. So the battle result is predetermined in the book. This battle is a victory to Nantiliode. There's no plunder. You gain 30 glory per round, which is altered by your combat actions. So, James, you will receive half and full, so you get 45.
45 glory, yeah.
And then Kendric is going to receive 90. And Kyned is going to receive 60. So the full range of human experience, as said by Sam Reich. Because this is a decisive victory, your amount of glory is doubled. Commanders receive glory equal to the basic glory. Oh, you're not an army commander. You're just a battalion commander. Never mind. Very well. You participate in the Battle of Levkamagus, which is to drive King Cerdic off. The Saxons take some losses, but slip past King Cerdic's army. Nantiliode moves his army eastward past Levkamagus, and Cerdic is allowed to escape. Cerdic disappears, and Nantiliode joins with Duke Ulfius, who's been skirmishing with foes to his east, and reports a large Saxon army there. All of the armies in the area meet at Hertford for the Battle of Royston. This is a battle both sides agree to meet for 2 rounds. The commanders are King Nantiliode and King Cerdic. There are no other modifiers. Who is your commander of your forces this time around?
Same, I believe.
Very well. Spoon, who did you choose to lose?
Sent.
And that's a family knight?
Yeah, sent home Sir Idwal.
Okay, so 3 family knights left.
Yes, because he was wounded.
Very well. Please give me your first charge roll.
Well, honestly, do you want to take it? It's 11. Oh, sorry.
Oh,
No,
you're
it's
right.
not 9 o'clock. Let's. Yeah,
Sorry, I'm
break.
just so excited. It's been so long since we've had a nice battle.
Right?
You're right. It's a high energy impact introduction kind of episode. I'm sorry, I'm like a dog that's chasing the bone in the car. It's a bone inside of a car. We'll be back in about 5 minutes for that third, which is like a second half. Guess who's back? It's us. In addition, I've been told I was doing the rules wrong, so now we're doing them right. I require the famously alive Sir Kendric to make a first lance battle roll for the charge.
Yes. Ooh, that's a failure by 1.
Amazing. I love that I only need 3 rule books to run this battle.
Yeah.
My favorite part of the system.
I mean, hey, if you were using the book of the battle, we could do this so much more impressive as well.
We will use the book of the battle down the line. Jesus. You
So
have
many more
to
ways to
listen.
die.
This is what happens. You start using Book of the Battle and Book of the Estates and Book of the Manor and the Feast book. You use them all too early. Then you get to the 500s, everything slows down and slogs and everyone quits. We're keeping it streamlined, and then we'll do fresh stuff later. Fresh flair, sophistication. Things get more complicated as time passes. All right, so you lost your first charge roll, so everyone will have a -5 on the first charge with your lance.
And you can only impassion
One
once.
roll per battle.
One skill for the battle.
Yes.
Okay.
Success.
So you can charge with your sword if you want to impassion early, but you're -5 charging with a sword as well. So the passion would only cancel out the
You
penalty.
still get force damage if you charge with the sword? I thought that
No.
was the point of the
No.
lance. Yeah.
No, you only get regular damage.
And you get the oh well, I guess because theoretically you're charging other people with lances.
Yes.
Well, yeah. So normally you get +5 for charging, but against foot.
Yes.
So yeah.
Well, so you get the +5 for the first charge, and then you get the +5 -5 reflexive for fighting people on foot.
Yes.
But you don't get that when you're fighting on people on horses.
Correct.
Do you still get the +5 for the charge?
So yeah, you're right. So normally it's +5 for charging with a lance, +5 for charging against foot. So it's +10 total.
These
so
are
if you
not
charge with a
foot power.
sword, yeah. That's so we
Okay, so we just lose the first charge bonus because I failed my battle.
Yes.
Yeah.
We don't actually take a -5.
Oh, okay.
Mm,
I think I didn't even give myself the +5 the last time, but
Okay.
that's okay.
I didn't either. Yeah, but we are well so far we're successes. But it sounds like you just roll normal.
Okay. Then I will just roll normal. That's fine. Success.
Okay, so that is a sorry, James, you are that's a success but not good enough for the whatchamacallit and whatsits. So you are rolling against somebody who's got armor and shield. Kendric, 15 is a failure, and then Glimo, a 5. So Kendrick's doing full damage, no armor. I'm sorry, no shield. And the two of you are doing shielded armored.
It's triple sixes. That's pretty wild.
Okay. Kendrick is doing 20 -6 for 14. You can make a squire roll, Kendrick, at this moment while I'm double checking things. Limo, injure your target, and James, you also injure your target. No deaths. The two of you can also make squire rolls if you want to try to go for a capture or if the squire wanders off. That looks like a success from Kendrick.
Yes.
Success from James. Success from Glimo. Are you all going for captures? Or
I
you
think
can choose
no
something else?
one's been knocked out, have they?
Correct.
To be captured. Yeah.
But they've been knocked off their horses, all 3 of them. You
Okay.
can try to
Yeah.
capture them.
Yes.
They are
Go for
ordinary
captures.
knights.
Yeah. So I guess it's booty.
Get some ransoms.
Spoon, roll a d20.
Just a straight D20?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's a 4.
Okay. Can roll higher. That's some kind of problem. All I'm saying.
He could have.
It's the second round. You can choose between lance or sword. You are facing off against a contingent of particularly poor-looking knights. They seem to be more skilled than the knights you previously faced, but their equipment is definitely in a different condition.
What type of armor are they wearing?
They are still wearing
The
hardened
leather.
Yep.
Okay.
With shield.
I will impassion with hate Saxons.
Okay.
I succeed in hating Saxons.
I will also hate Saxons.
Ooh.
Or will I? I will.
I will also attempt hate Saxons.
Ooh.
Oh, that's a fumble, but it does nothing.
We will
Except
come
for
back to
cons-
that in a second. Kendric, I do need you to make another battle roll for the follower's fate for the first
Okay.
round.
Yes. That's a success.
Excellent. So, as a result, Gwgan will lose another mercenary, bring him down to 23. Kendric will lose another mercenary and have another knight wounded, and Kyned will be perfectly fine. All right.
A fumble on a normal passion is still melancholy for
-5,
D6 +5
yeah.
days and lose 1 point of passion.
Yeah, so just drop. I lose. Yeah, I lose.
Is the melancholy immediate or it's afterwards, right?
After the scene, basically.
Yeah, it's madness is the one that's immediate.
Yeah, madness is a bad one.
I love the idea that you've had your best commander just walk out right before the critical battles. Perfect.
Yes, yeah, because it's a fumble, not a failure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's do sword against sword.
Hot sword on sword action.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a natural 2 + 1.
So it's an unnatural 3. Got it.
That is a 10.
Okay, this is versus James. That is a success that beats his success.
So I get my armor and shield.
Indeed. Glimo. That is a failure. So you get full damage armor only. Versus Kendric, that is also a failure, full damage armor only.
18.
Not typing for me. James, you take 18 damage.
That my armor and chivalry absorbs that.
26 damage for me.
Chivalry. Okay, so Glimo deals 12. He stays on his horse, and then Kendric, you knock your guy off of his horse. And you may go for a capture with your squire if you would like.
I'm not unhorsed.
Oh, that's a critical.
We get
Once
the
again,
dude
it's-
and the horse.
Yeah. Mark is still around.
So you capture a poor knight this time, who is worth less.
I do?
Yes. He's not worthless, he's worth less. Sorry, you said you're at a critical, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I got a critical.
Yep.
Does that also get me something else?
You get
the horse.
You get the capture of the person and their horse.
And their horse, okay.
Yep.
Is it a destrier?
It is a courser. Glimo. You will also capture your target, but not their horse. You can mark down that you have a 4 capture. Follower's fates roll from our commander, please. You are also affected by your melancholy, correct? You have a -5?
Is this the same scene?
I mean, it's the end of the battle. I feel like that's reasonable.
Okay.
You know?
So -5.
Very sad.
So, since it's the end of the battle, is this modified at all by the victory condition?
No, because the victory is inconclusive. It is
Okay.
an indecisive battle. Both armies go home.
That is
So-
still a. Sorry, go ahead, James.
No, you go. So I thought we were talking about glory, but you're talking about the survival.
Still success.
Okay. Gwgan loses another mercenary, bring him down to 22.
23. I had lost. Did I lose one earlier?
Yes, at the
I
end of
lost
the
one last battle.
Yes, you lost one at the first battle because I forgot to
Yep.
do Faller's Fate into the second round. And you lost 2, right? So far, so you've lost 3 total.
Okay. Okay.
And then Kendric, you're down another mercenary, bringing you down to, what, 8? And another family knight must go home.
I was at 11 mercs total.
Yes, so, I mean, you've lost them 3 times, right? You've had 3 successes.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah,
So
sorry.
you've lost-
I was just counting this battle.
You've lost 3 mercenaries, and you send another family knight home. And we need to talk about your melancholy.
Yes. Let's see. I feel like this is probably Sir Maldwin, who I think Kendric was probably very close with because he was the actually here, let me roll a d6 to see if this was Maldwin or Gwyneth. I believe odds are female gender, so as Dame Gwyneth is wounded, this is one of the lineage family members that I raised to knighthood, so I feel like we're probably very close. And so her being wounded has probably shaken him a little bit. And then it is what? So that's 5.
10 days.
So 10 days.
You're not going to be here for the rest of this campaign unless someone shakes you out of it.
No, I mean I still have control over my actions.
Oh, interesting.
I will just take a -5 to everything I do unless someone snaps me out of it.
Very well.
And like Kendrick's not going to abandon the campaign. He's just going to he'll be sad.
Be a sad boy.
Yeah.
So did you work at the glory already?
No, not yet.
No. So it is an indecisive victory. The Saxon armies all go home to lick their wounds. The wounded from Nantleode's armies are also sent home, but he retreats to Biel-Valais and waits. After a while, he is joined by Duke Corneus of Lindsey. It is 30 experience points per round. So there is no alteration for victory because it is ×1 for an indecisive victory.
Yeah.
And then, so Gwgan will be getting 45 based on success and failure. Kendric will be getting double successes for 60, and Kyned will be getting 60 as well. Right, audience at home, we're not doing crazy shit like Pursuit yet. We're not ready for that. You're not
And do we
ready,
get-
audience.
And do we get glory for our captures?
So at the end of the battle, like night is setting, and the 2 knights that you have are just kind of waiting around, and then so a foreign man comes over and it's just like, my friends, I see that you have these 2 knights here. I am willing to take them back to Londonium for house arrest while we negotiate with their families and figure out an exact price that would be good for them. I've spoken with them in their language, and I am willing to broker for them. I've put down an offer here on this piece of paper, which he writes down on a piece of paper and hands to each of you.
Don't the Saxons control London?
Yes. They're going under house arrest there. They're given their parole, sir. Don't you trust an honorable knight?
Hold on a sec. So he's going to take them back to arrest in a place that their army controls.
Correct. But
Team.
under his word, as a
Okay. Oh, so he's on their side saying they'll sit the fight out.
He's
Okay.
a ransom broker. He's not on anybody's side.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's like the
He's
Ents.
on his own side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He hands
right.
each of you a piece of paper which contain the Roman numerals XII.
This is for both of these nights.
Each night is worth 12 pounds if you would like to ransom them, or you may have them held under house arrest in London.
I'm happy to ransom them.
Take the 12.
Yeah, I'll ransom. So that's 24.
Yes. James, sorry, did you also get
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
it was that in the first? Oh yes, in the first one you got a ransom. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I get 24.
Yes. All right, flipping books again. The normal time for military service is 40 days of progress, and this is long past. Even the boy, Earl Roderick, squiring in the army, is expressing a desire to go home and be done with this business. King Nantleode goes before his troops and makes a stirring speech, which is not listed in the books except to say orate critical success within brackets. He inspires many who volunteer to stay for the rest of the summer at their own expense. You may choose, friends. Many of the knights abandon the army. If you stay, you will pay during the winter phase to stay here on your own. Or you can go back home with many of the Salisbury knights. Do you believe strongly in the cause of King Nantleode's victory, even though he has failed on this march north to go from Royston to Hertford to finally end the Saxon threat?
I mean, I think Kendric is a known Nanteliod stan, so he's going to stay.
I think, yeah, I definitely want to go back, but I think that, with Kendrick staying and my hatred of Saxons, I will, if the other two were going, I would go, but if one of them is staying, I'll stay.
Well, I guess if all the cool kids are doing it.
You're staying?
I'm staying.
Very well. This is a good place to end this episode. Note that an amount of time passes such that you are no longer affected by your melancholy.
Okay.
No one actually needed to heal, right? No one took any damage?
No.
So no chirurgery, no hit points are needed. Several Sundays pass. You would gain hit points except you're fully hale and hearty and healthy. When we return next weekend? Question mark?
No.
No.
Yeah, we're out next
In
weekend.
a future weekend, when we return, we will discuss the Battle of Hertford. What could happen? Some say King Nantleode and Duke Corneus will march on the lands of Essex, and King Aethelwulf of Anglia will come to fight. Others say that's not what's going to happen, and they'd be wrong. Please also note that all three of you must pay £3 at your own expense to remain in the field at length to help good King Nantleode, as they are starting to call him. They definitely stole that title from the true good king, Pellinor. Good King Pelly. I love to imagine that this episode has a good King Pelly Japanese anime style omake that's just like a little animated Pellinor doing a little skit with the with God, what's the name of the questing beast? Ladtissant. How did we sorry, go ahead.
Is that £3
At your expense.
Yes, but is that per night?
No. That's for the
Okay,
local
so just total. Okay, gotcha.
Yes. Bro, if you had to pay £3 per night, I want to see the
Yeah,
room
that's
you're
what I was gonna
staying
say.
at out
I was gonna say that's a lot of money for me. But I think I would still do it.
£3 per night, so you're spending half of a regular manor's expenses in an entire year a night. What are you staying in? Fucking ultra first class Korean hotel where they bring you a tiger if you want one?
He gets 5,000 glory from conspicuous consumption.
He Mansa Munsas the local economy, depreciating the value of gold. Because inflation isn't a thing at this time, it's a permanent, absolute disaster for the economy to have so much extra gold.
That gold's not even worth the burlap sacks it's being carried in.
Somewhere out there, someone remits all the coin to tin. Ah, yes, nice, pliable tin, the perfect metal for a coin. How did we feel about this episode? We're back to battles, baby. We're back to shenanigans and singing songs and shit like that. We're back to James quoting Machiavelli in a really scary way.
I gave no Machiavelli quotes today. I just
You
referred
said
to the
some
prince.
stuff that felt Machiavellian, which is close enough.
Hey, I'm gonna be getting a 1,000 glory point
Oh,
when we do the winter
Nice.
phase, assuming I
Nice.
survive the third battle.
hey, all
Yeah.
you need to do is roll criticals constantly, and you can get another 1,000 glory.
Yeah, I mean, this was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. I like the battle system.
We're still just
been a
using
while.
the quick running battle system
the
rather than
quick-
the full. Don't
Yes.
worry. Once the Boy King period comes around, we'll use the full battle system, and then after Boy King, we're gonna switch to the Book of Battles so we can do the big stuff. You know, with the bada boom, with the big stuff.
That's when you roll badly and suddenly it's 3 versus 1.
Yeah, and you go,
yeah.
uh-oh.
You just gotta Lancelot your way out of that. Be like, all right, well, I have a sword skill of 60, so I divide it 23 ways.
Yeah.
And I critical on all of them. Lancelot just sets a die on the table that has 20s on all its sides. Fuck the French, man.
Yeah.
Who do they think they are?
Exactly. Who do they think they are?
Anything we want to final notes for the audience before we head out tonight?
Um,
It's okay if the answer's no. I
yeah, I don't think so.
If
This
Spoon,
is,
if you want to say a sentence for a while so I can cut you off.
Yeah, sure. So I was going to say,